Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi. But like the door is so tough to like get back on. Seriously, it takes 10 extra minutes just to do that, so. Well, good morning to you. It is 7:46. Thanks for joining us on After GMS on Facebook Live. We look forward to, of course, connecting with you and getting to know your thoughts on a few conversations. But I think, Stacy, you all set over there?
I'm good now. We're seeing double Turan, so I had to fix that really quick. Sorry about that.
Because one Turan isn't enough.
That's right. We need 2 Turans. He's agreeing with us.
All right, well, since we are talking about Turan, let's start with the forecast, Ed.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about what you can expect as you go through the day today. We are expecting heavy rain to move in, especially this afternoon and this evening. That could lead to some flash flooding in spots. We do have a flash flood watch that's in effect for just about the entire area for this afternoon. Because of that, additionally, we could see a few strong thunderstorms as well this evening. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on radar, especially really between 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. That looks to be the window for maybe an isolated tornado, but that overall threat is fairly low. Temperatures today will struggle to make it into the lower 70s. And then we'll just see on again and off again rain after that through at least Saturday. And then by Sunday, we'll begin to dry out. And right now, 6-7 days from now, it looks like we will see mainly dry conditions on Monday and Tuesday with high temperatures early next week in the mid 70s.
All right, Turan, thank you. So this morning we want to continue a conversation that we started on the Good Morning Show. How do you handle when people are getting too close to you in a public place, like a grocery store or convenience store? We know we're all encouraged to social distance right now, but it can be tricky when you're into a space with other people, right? So Tracy, you asked this question on Facebook and got a lot of responses, right?
Yeah, because this has happened to me and probably to all of you on occasion. Someone is a little just too close for comfort. So how do you handle that? Well, got some great responses on Facebook. I'll just briefly kind of go over some of them. Some said that they stretch out both of their arms to make sure that they're 6 feet apart, you know, something like this. Lynn Israel said that she doesn't do anything. She just kind of walks away and makes sure that, you know, if people are around, it's just something we have to get used to, she says, because If you're frightened about it, she's like, just stay home and get deliveries. Lori said, you know, she puts stuff in her cart, then puts her cart behind her, giving her more space between herself and another person. And then another comment mentioned my daughter and her side eye, reference to side eye Simone, saying she pushes her cart back and says social distancing thank you with her side eye Simone. So we appreciate the Simone reference because, you know, I love talking about my little baby girl. But the issue is real, guys. You know, there are people who are conscious of staying 6 feet apart. There are others who just kind of like aren't really all that into it. So how do you handle it? Ed Matthews, we'll start with you.
Well, if somebody starts to get close to me, I usually don't say anything verbally, but I just kind of back up. I do what I call the backstroke, and I kind of, you know, just back up away from them, and I'm thinking in terms of the supermarket because work and home, that's about the only other place I go. If I'm getting ready to go down an aisle and there's a crowd of people there, I go to the next aisle and come back when that one is empty with people. Generally, I don't say anything. I might smile or nod or something like that, but again, just back off.
Yeah, I like that, the backstroke.
Yeah.
All right, you have a name for yours. You have a name for your method, Taran, or is this not an issue for you?
I don't really have a name for the method. I mean, it's just been the way I've lived my life for the whole time since the very beginning. You know, everyone has a bubble. I think now, you know, people's personal space bubbles maybe expanded some. And some folks aren't used to that, and some people are just fine with it. People are just different, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think that it's just polite, even if there was not a pandemic, if you are in the grocery store or if you are out in public, you know, just give other people space that you don't know. You know, I think that's just something nice to do. And as we have seen and as we've learned over the years, even to get before this particular virus arrived on the scene, it's also cleaner and more sanitary to give other human beings space. But as we know, we're social creatures and everybody likes to be, you know, next to one another. So I don't think that it will last long after this virus abates.
Right.
We will probably start to see people not socially distancing, but we'll see. It might become a thing. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It's funny, Taran, because you're like, I don't really have a name for it, but I mean, you did. You're like man in a bubble. So, I mean, it's very clever. I like it. All right, Stacey, how about you?
Yeah, like what Taran mentioned, I noticed there are some people that just don't get the bubble, like the personal space bubble. They just have no idea about that, I guess. But and some people just like to be closer to others. But I have noticed an issue, especially last weekend at Target, where people were just too close to me and they weren't wearing a face mask. I think if they were wearing a face mask and they were a little too close, then I'd be okay. But the fact that it was both made me a little, maybe possibly nervous. I don't know if nervous is the best word, but I was uncomfortable, that's for sure. I do really appreciate, though, when I go to Trader Joe's, they have a lady specifically going around with this big sign. I've talked about it here on the Good Morning Show before, and it's literally feet, and it's 6 feet. It's like shoes. It's hilarious. And she walks around to make sure that people are social distancing, and that just made me feel really comfortable to shop in there because I knew that they were making sure that these guidelines were in place.
Yeah, I mean, I think stores have stepped up. Well, some of them have really stepped up in the last few weeks. So I'm reading some of the comments online, and they're spot on. Carnita says, politely move away from them. Don't make any comment, which is probably the best thing because you don't want to start, right, any altercations or anything like that. Heather says, I move away. People are just rude, even during a pandemic. And then Jessica says, I ask nicely the first 2 to 5 times, then I tell them to get away from me, not so nicely. Yeah, I mean, after a while, you know, enough is enough. Sharia says, I'm like Ed. I go the opposite direction. So a lot of people are doing backstrokes in the grocery store.
I love what Nadine said. She says, I stare them down, eye contact becomes awkward. So maybe stare them down with the Simone side eye, and they'll slowly move away.
Yeah, especially if you're wearing a mask, right? Because our Blanca Cobb said this today during the Good Morning Show. You know, your face is covered, your nose is covered, so you can't really tell with your mouth what what facial expression you're making, but your eyes tell the story. So if you're staring somebody down, somebody could tell. I'm like, you know, my glare, you can't see it from here, but it was strong. It was strong.
I'm going to try it out.
All right, so thank you for weighing in. We'll have another conversation in just a few minutes, giving you another opportunity to let us know your thoughts. But right now, Stace, let's move forward.
Yeah, let's get to a few news headlines this morning. Today, North Carolina gym owners will take legal action against Governor Cooper, arguing for their rights to reopen. Victory Fitness in Wilson is one of several gyms where owners chose to defy Governor Cooper's order, which was supposed to keep them closed. Originally, gyms and fitness centers were included in phase 2, but state health officials scaled back, worried that gyms would turn into outbreak hotspots. Today, an attorney representing hundreds of gyms will file a restraining order, which, if granted, would give other gym owners the all clear to open. A Wilkesboro salon owner is banning Tyson workers from coming into his store because of the coronavirus outbreak. The owner of Smart Cuts off US 421 says he made the decision with the safety of his employees in mind. Last week, Tyson announced 1 in 4 of more than 2,000 workers tested positive for COVID-19. The majority of those workers were asymptomatic. The owner says the ban will only last until June 8th.
Well, officials are pushing back against concerns for large crowds at Ace Speedway in Alamance County over the weekend. County leaders say in their initial discussions with the state, they were told the Speedway could probably be allowed to open at 25 to 50% capacity. But under the current phase 2 guidelines, which remember were even more restrictive than at first thought, outdoor gatherings are capped at 25 people. Alamance County officials say they investigated this weekend's event and said the Speedway had sanitizing stations and social distancing signs up. The county says 2,500 people attended the 50-acre property event, putting capacity at about 50%. The Guilford County Health Department will host free coronavirus testing days this Thursday and Friday. Testing will happen from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Windsor Recreation Center in Greensboro. The department hosted a similar testing last week and added these additional testing times because of the demand. You do need to make an appointment first in order to get tested. All right, let's jump into our next conversation this morning. And Stacy, let's talk about summer plans.
Yeah, Memorial Day is thought to be the unofficial start to summer, and we know this year will be really different. Theme parks are trying to prepare to reopen with new health and safety precautions in place. Six Flags just announced their plans. It will include things like thermal temperature checks as folks come in, limiting crowd size by requiring reservations ahead of time, also requiring people to wear face masks and social distancing in lines. Disney has not yet announced their plans to reopen parks, but is expected to soon. Once theme parks reopen, are you making plans to go to them this summer? Let us know by commenting on our Facebook stream right now. Well, I don't think that I will probably be going to a theme park anytime soon, just because I don't have any plans to do so. I do love them, but I do say, I believe if I do go to one, let's say in the near future, and I do not have the vaccine for coronavirus yet, I will probably wear a face mask, social distance, do a combination of all those things that we've been talking about, all the guidelines that could possibly be in place. However, the question that I have about all of this is, do you have to wear a face mask when you're on the rides? I would think that that would be kind of problematic, especially the really big roller coasters, which I love. I'm a huge roller coaster fan, but you're going down, you know, on a roller coaster at such a high of a speed, and I'm just thinking that face mask would be sucked back onto your face, and I would think that would create an issue, right? They're saying that you don't have to wear them at the water park, but they haven't said anything about actually on the rides.
Yeah, that'd be interesting because I don't even think you're allowed to wear hats or anything that could come off on a roller coaster because they go fast and it could become a hazard to someone else. So I don't know, but we will keep asking, right? So I believe in full transparency, and I cannot answer this question without first telling you that I only go to amusement parks for the food. Only. I do not go for the characters. They still kind of scare me a little bit. I do not go for the rides. I'm not that into it. I love funnel cake. I love anything that has to do with fair food. And that's why I go. So I can hold off on that for a little while, and no need for me to jump back into the amusement parks right now. But I'm not an enthusiast, right? I don't necessarily need to be on a huge roller coaster that goes around and about and do all this other stuff. I just like to be home anyway. So I'm out of this one, right? Because I'm already biased in one way. So Ed Matthews, we'll get you to weigh in since I don't really have a good opinion on this.
Well, I think your opinion was great. I like the idea of lots of good food, and you said funnel cake, and now my mouth is watering. I think the last theme park that I went to was Carowinds in Charlotte. And I think that was about 15 years ago, so you can tell I don't frequent those parks very often. And I can say the word roller coaster and get nauseated. So there you go.
See, you're all about full transparency as well.
You know me. Transparent, yeah.
All right, so Taran, your name starts with T. Transparent, Taran, you know, just trying to keep the theme going. What about you and rides?
You know, I enjoy the rides, but I'm kind of like you, Tracy. I enjoy the food more. So.
Oh, come on. No one likes the rides?
I mean, they're okay. I mean, food is always going to be better than just about everything else. So I prefer the food. So we usually do Epcot because of that. I mean, they have some rides, but, you know, they have more in the way of
attractions
and more in the way of food. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I just need to see what this is going to look like. You know, how are the different places going to handle this? The first few months, is it going to be chaos, or is it actually going to work out just fine? And then I kind of make my decision after that, probably.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. You have to wait and see. I know that if the price is driven down significantly, like half price or more, then that would maybe tempt me a little bit more to consider it. But right now, I'm not going to pay $100 per person to get into, you know, a theme park. I can wait and save a little bit of money too, right? All right, so let's turn to our Facebook page. A lot of people are saying that they don't have plans for travel this summer. Angela says, I just refuse to travel at this moment, so no summer plans for her. Heather says her boyfriend and she are planning a Disney trip for next year or even 2022. She's not going anywhere for the rest of this year. And Karen says, no can do. I'm with you, Tracy. Well, anybody who's with me is a friend of mine, so let's do that. A lot of people have the same question about that you did, Stacey, about the masks. So I wonder how we get that answer for people.
Yeah, I actually went and looked on Six Flags, their entire press release about this on their website. It did not mention it anywhere, so hopefully we can pose that question and get it answered for you, because I think it's something that a lot of people are wondering. They did clarify, like I said, about water parks and the water rides and all of that, the water slides. You don't have to wear a face mask. So I would assume it'd be the same for a ride, but then again, I don't know. You're very close to people when you're on a ride. Things that I'm thinking of, you know, you're sitting right next to someone, one person's directly behind you. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I guess we will wait and see. But as soon as I can go to a theme park and get on a ride, I will be there, especially Disney. That is my number one choice.
Is that the Harry Potter attraction, or is that somewhere else? Is that Universal?
I totally forgot about that. That's my second favorite. That's at Universal.
Universal,
but,
okay.
Both in Orlando. You can go knock out two birds in one stone. Go to Disney a few days. Go to Harry Potter World the next few days. Can you tell I'm already planning out a vacation in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, we know that you're also loaded because that's a lot of money.
No, I don't have the money for that. I gotta start saving right now.
I was gonna say, wow. All right, so while we are waiting for things to play out in terms of our summer vacations, this morning, that's the waiting game in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Let's take a live look here. Wow, today at 4:33 this afternoon, NASA and SpaceX hope to launch 2 astronauts into space. If it's all systems go, look, I sound like a science person. If it's all systems go, it would be the first time since the space shuttle program ended in 2011 that American astronauts are launched from U.S. soil. So this is history right now, and my attention immediately goes to the weather, because right now it doesn't look like conditions are ideal. I don't know, Taran, you might have some perspective on this.
Yeah, they have a pretty active weather pattern down there in Florida right now. So it's quiet this morning, but as we go through the afternoon, I think they'll start to see showers and thunderstorms pop up. And, they have meteorologists there that are watching things, actually military meteorologists that help to make some of the determination as well. That they're not only looking at the rain, you also have to look at the wind at different levels of the atmosphere. So a lot of things have to be exactly right for a space launch to occur, especially one that is carrying human beings. I mean, the margin of error is razor thin with space flight. So we'll see how things work. If they can't launch today, they'll try it again on Saturday. It looks like the weather Saturday will be a little bit more favorable. So we'll have to kind of just see how things shake out. Hopefully they can launch today, though, safely.
Yeah, absolutely. Safe being the key word. And Ed Matthews, I know you've watched a few shuttle launches. This one just as exciting?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think in memory, I think I've watched just about every one, right on through Apollo and then the space shuttle and now this. It's always exciting to see.
Yeah, I love the actual countdown when you hear mission control, because they get over the live broadcast and you really feel like you're a part of it, right? They do the countdown. It's pretty exciting. It's like all the movies I enjoy, where Armageddon being one. Okay, so let's talk about the forecast here, because what we're seeing in terms of cloudy conditions in Florida might not be what we're seeing here at home.
Well, we're seeing plenty of clouds, just a few spritz and sprinkles and very isolated showers this morning, but be weather aware later on this afternoon between about 2 p.m. and about 10 p.m. this evening. Not only do we have a threat for heavy rain and possible flash flooding during that time frame, but we'll be on the lookout for maybe some strong or severe storms. There will be rotation in the atmosphere. We couldn't even rule out an isolated tornado to spin up, although the probability of that is quite low. It is not zero. So stay with us right on through today and tonight. Even though this tropical moisture, or at least the system producing the tropical moisture, moves out, it's going to keep a lot of tropical moisture around tomorrow, Friday, and with the approach of a cold front, even into Saturday as well. And each day during the afternoon and evening mainly, we'll get showers and storms. Now that cold front on Saturday will move through Saturday night, and behind it we're going to get some drier air, and boy, we're going to be happy to see that. I think Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday are going to be dry with temperatures in the mid-70s. And beginning on Tuesday, Ed is off work, so maybe all of next week will be dry. Okay?
Oh, the sun comes out when you're not at work.
Of course it does. Everybody says, Ed, go on vacation so it'll clear up, please.
Well, that just means you're too good at what you do.
Well, I don't know, but I tell you what, we got to be weather aware today. Again, the possible heavy rain and flash flooding, and then also the small severe threat. So stay tuned throughout today and this evening.
Well, we want you to go on vacation then, Ed.
I'm going to relax.
Yeah.
Nothing else to do.
As you should. All right, thanks for joining us here on After GMS. Tell your friends about us. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7:45. We love chatting with you. Thanks for weighing in, and we'll see you next time. Bye, folks.